if you go through the data model and the data sets provided, you will realize that the data sets that you will need for this analysis are three. And let me show you what they are. You will need the reaction dataset, the content dataset, and the reaction types. So that is the answer for that. And then now next, you will go to this page where you will download the datasets for cleaning. So you will have the reaction types, the reactions, and the content datasets provided. You can download them, and you can use your own. You can use whatever tool you can. You can choose any tool to clean up this data. So yeah, we shall load these datasets into SSMS SQL Server management system, and we shall clean them up. So I'll see you in the SQL page as we clean up these datasets. Thank you for watching. So our analysis and cleaning, we shall do it in SQL Server Management Studio. So after downloading your datasets, ensure that you save them as workbook or as an Excel workbook file if you are going to use SQL Server Management Studio. So let's hop into SQL Server Management Studio there. And then now we first have to create a database. We go to databases, then right click and then new database. And then we name these social bars. So our database is called social bars. Okay. So you see we have created our database. Now let us import the datasets to social bars. So you will click on start, and then now you can go to Microsoft SQL Server 2019, and then you click on this drop down menu, and then you go to the import and export tab, and then you click next here. Your data source is an Excel file, so you click on this drop down menu and then select Excel, and then now you select your file path. We'll go to my file path here. So I'll first upload this content table, open, then my version is 2016. So if you have 2016 and above, you just click 2016, then you click next, and then your destination, you scroll down and pick SQL Server Native Client 11.0, and this one will bring you this menu that shows our server, and then now you can choose the database you want to load this data to. So we'll select social bars, and then next, and then next, and then next, and next, and finish. And there you go. We have our data transferred to SQL Server Management Studio, to our database, social bars. So we can also do the same for the reaction types. So next, it's an Excel file. We browse, we go, we take reactions. It's Microsoft 2016, so you repeat the same process as done before. Our database is social bars. Next, 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 finish. And you have successfully imported 25,000 rows. So close, and you will do the same for the third Excel file. So after we have imported our datasets to the social bars database, we'll explore these datasets or these tables one by one and do some cleaning. So we'll first start with the content table. So let's write a select statement to view what is in the content table. So select everything from social bars, content, execute. Sorry, so there's a from there. So execute. If you look at social bus, we have the F1 content ID, user ID, type, category, and URL. So there are some columns that we won't need in our analysis, and so we are going to drop these we're going to drop these columns. So in SSMS or SQL Server Management Studio, you can choose to manually delete on this menu here, or you can use an alter table statement to drop these columns. So let me show you the first way to drop these columns. So the first thing is, so we write a comment there, and then we say drop the F1 column. So here we write the alter table statement, alter table. This one, let's copy these. Control copy, Control V, and then drop column, square brackets, F1 colon, and then now let's write this select statement to see if we have dropped it. So copy paste. So we'll select top 10. Let's run this query. Hey, perfect. You see, you have already deleted this F1 column that was in the table. So another way you can delete a column is you can, on this menu here, you go to the table content, you click on this plus sign and then this column. And then now we want to delete the user ID. So you click on the user ID, you right click, and then you delete. Then OK. And there you go. You have deleted. If you refresh, you will see that it is not there. You've deleted the user ID column. Let's run it. Let's run this. You see, we don't have the user ID column anymore. And then for the URL, we are going to do the same. Copy paste this, copy, Control C, Control V, and then here now you change to URL. So let's execute this query, and there we go. We have content ID, type, and category columns left, which is what we may need for this table. So here a comment to drop the, so it's drop the URL column. This one is the F1 column. And perfect. You see, we have managed to drop these columns manually or by writing an alter table query. And so the next thing is we are going to check for blanks in all of the columns. Check for blanks in all the columns. So we are going to use a count case statement to check for blanks in our table. So here you write select statement, select tab, then count bracket case. So when the content ID is null, content ID square bracket is null, or content ID this one should be in square brackets, or content. So it is going to count the case when the content ID is null or the content ID is equals to blank. And then it ends this statement, then 1. So it is counting. So if it's null or it's blank, then 1. So it's going to count 1, 2, and so forth, then 1. And then we close our bracket. and then we are going to name it as square brackets blank content id count. So we are going to name it blank content id count, close that, comma, and then control copy, control v, control v, and this is going to apply for the type and category columns. So type, control v, blank type, control v, and then this is for category. Let's copy this, control copy, control v, control v, from control copy, control v. So from our table social bars content. So let us run this to see if we have any blanks. So execute, and you see we don't have any blanks in our table. And the next step will be looking at the category column. So we are going to have a closer look of the category column. So here, let's see all the distinct categories in our data set. Distinct in bracket category from social bars. So if you execute these, you see we have currently, if you execute that, you will notice that we have 28 distinct categories. But a closer look of the categories, you will see they are repeated, like veganism is repeated. There is also veganism. So we want to clean these by removing the quotation marks in the veganism and all these other data. So let us remove that. So here, let's write this comment. Let's remove the sign. So to remove the quotation signs, we are going to use an update statement. So we are going to update the table by setting the category to replace these signs with blanks. So update, copy this, control copy. So update our table social bars content in the social bars database. So set category is equals to replace in brackets. So what are we going to replace? Category, comma, and then what we're going to replace is this sign. You're going to put it in quotation marks, comma. What do you replace it with? Blanks. Close the brackets, and then we're going to run these to see the distinct categories after we have updated our data set. So let's run that. If we execute that, you see perfect. We have managed to clean and remove the quotations. So here we have veganism. We have 16 types of categories. And then if you look closely, you will notice that all these categories are in small letters. But then if you scroll to the first one, animals, it starts with a capital letter. So that one too is a form of inconsistency, and we can change that. So let's change the capital letter to small letter. So here to do that, we are also going to update our table. So let's copy these, control copy, control V. But here now we are going to lower. Use the lower statement. Is equals to lower category. So we are going to update the content table by choosing the category column and setting everything to lowercase. So capital case, let's write the capital case letter to small case letter. And let's run that, execute, and perfect. You see now after we have run our query, we have managed to create a consistency in this table for this data. Another thing that I wanted to let you know for this table is that we can now consider or follow the required naming conventions for SQL tables and columns. For instance, if you look at content ID, it is content space ID. But the best way you can go about it is remove this space. And then type, we need to specify what type it is. So this type column is a category type. So we're going to do that. We're going to rename these columns. So content ID, you will right click and then rename, remove the space, content ID. And then type, here you rename to content type. Content type. And then category will just remain the same. Yeah, this URL is here, but we don't have it. See, it generates an error. If you refresh, it will go away. Yeah, and that is all you will do for the content table in cleaning up the table to have consistency. Yeah, so next we are going to look at the reactions table and we are going to do some form of cleaning. So you open a new query. After cleaning the content table, let us clean the reactions table. So first, let us view the data contained in the reactions table. So select from social buzz reaction. Execute. You can see we have F1 content ID, user ID, type, and date time. So we are going to delete. First, we are going to delete this F1 column and the user ID column. So I'll do it here manually. Just select the F1 and then delete. Okay. And I will do the same for user. Delete. So yeah, if I run again this query, if I run this query again, see I have only 3 columns: content ID, type, and date time. So let us rename these type to reaction type. So rename to reaction type. Yeah, and there we go. We have the reaction type column. So let us now clean this reaction type column and remove all the blank data. So first, we're going to check for blanks in the reaction type column. So let us write a query that will check for blanks in the reaction type column. So select count. So we are going to repeat the same count case. So we are going to instruct the SQL to count all the blanks in this column. So case when square bracket reaction type is equals to blank, then one, and as square bracket blank. Let us copy these. Control copy, Control V. Blank reaction type count. From where? From, let's copy these. Control copy from, Control paste. So let us run our query. Yeah, you see we have 0 reaction type count. Oh yeah, I think we need to add the is null here. So here is null, or so count case when reaction type is null or reaction type is blank, then one, or end as that. Let us run again and see. Yeah, from there now you see we have 980 nulls in this column. Yes, now let us delete all the blanks. So delete nulls in the reaction type column. So here we start with the delete query, delete from social bars reactions, where Control V reaction type is null or reaction type is equals to. Then now we run these to count if there is any nulls left after deleting. So Control V. Now let us run our query. Perfect. Now after running the delete function, the delete query, and then you count for nulls in the reaction type column, you realize that now we don't have any nulls. And that is all the cleaning that we needed for the two tables, the reactions table and the content table. The reaction types table is clean. What is left now is for us to combine these three tables, so that we have one universal table that we will now analyze and answer the question that was asked by the social buzz team. Let us look at the reaction types table and then you are going to merge all the three tables. So first select to look at the reaction types table. Select star from social bus reaction types. Then execute. And here you will see there is three columns. There's the reaction type, there's the sentiment, and then score. And this one is a short table of 16 rows, and everything is okay in this table. So let us now, let us merge all these three tables together. And if you look closely at these three tables, you will notice that they all have a common row for content ID, and that is what you are going to use to merge these three tables. Let me show you. Control V. So reactions, there's reactions, then there is content. So let's execute these. You see there is except for the reaction type, table. See, this one has content ID, this one has content ID, and that is the row that is common in all, and we are going to use that to merge these tables. So to merge these tables, we are going to use let me show you the code that I wrote, the query that I wrote. So select r dot content ID, comma. Then now let us copy these. Control Z, Control copy. So here, tab, Control V. Control V, Control V. So next is r dot reaction type. This is from the base table we are using, which is the reactions table. Date time. So comma, and then this from the reactions table. From the contents table we go c dot content type, comma, and then c dot category, comma, and then rt reaction type dot sentiment, comma, rt dot score. So we have how many rows you are going to have in this table? How many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then now we are going to, all those are going into our new table, which is called, we are going to name this table social buzz dot dbo dot content. We are going to name it content category, so it is going into the social buzz. From, let us copy these, control copy, control V, social buzz. So here from first reactions are control V. So and then join a join statement, join control V, and then this is going to be content C on r dot content ID. We're going to join them on content ID. R dot content ID is equals to C dot content ID, and then join, another join, control V, social buzz dbo dot. So this one is going to be reaction types rt on reaction types rt on r dot reaction type. That is the column we are going to use, which is common for the reactions table and the reaction type table. So r dot reaction type is equals to rt dot reaction type. So this query here instructs SQL to join these tables on the common column. So R is for reaction, C is for content, RT is for reaction type. And let's now run and see. And then we write a select top 10 from and run. Perfect. We have a new table called content category, which is a combination of the three tables. It has a content ID, a reaction type, date time, content type, category, sentiment, and score. And so this table, we can either continue to do the analysis on SQL, or we can do an exploratory analysis in SQL, or we can export this table to Excel, and from there we can now do the analysis. And that is now the cleaning and merging part of this whole project. And thank you for watching. See you in the next video, which we will be answering now the question that we was asked by the management team of Social Buzz, which is to analyze for the top 5 categories of content that Social Buzz has in terms of popularity. And now, to get the top 5 categories by popularity, using the score column, we are going to write a simple query that will do exactly that. So select top 10. We are going to look at the top 10 instead of top 5. Category, comma, sum bracket score. So it's the sum of the score as popularity, as cumulative. Let's say cumulative underscore score from Social Buzz content category. Then we are going to group this by category, and then we are going to order by the sum, of the score. Descending from the highest to the lowest. And let's execute. And if you execute that, now you will see the top 10. The most popular content category is animals, then science, and number 10 is education. But this is for you as a data analyst. But now you need to show these results in a manner that non-data people can understand. Those who are not data savvy can understand. So what I'll do is we are going to export the data in the content category table. And then we are going to export it to an Excel file. And then we will create a table, or we'll create a pivot chart that will show the top 5 categories. So let's first export this data. So if you run this, let's run this query. So this one shows 24,573 columns for this data. So we are going to copy this because there is no direct way you can export this to an Excel file. We're going to select here and then control copy, and then we are going to open an Excel file where we are going to paste our data. So let's open Excel, and then you go to file, new blank workbook, and then control V. And here we have all our data, and then alt HOI to fit everything. And then now for the column titles, we are going to insert a new row here. And then we are going to name these depending on the content ID, reaction type, all these we are going to put there. So content ID, then reaction type. So this one is content ID. This one is reaction type. And then the third column is date time. The fourth column is content type, category, sentiment, and score. Content type, category. So this one is content type, category, sentiment, and score. Sentiment, and then score. So for these column titles, let's also to fit them. Alt HOI. So control all, then alt HOI, and then let's bolden them. Control B and align to the center there. And so yeah, we have our table here. Let's rename it to content category. And for you now to do an analysis to show the top 5 categories and create a chart, you're going to control all and then alt N to insert, and then V, a pivot table. And they are going to insert this in a new worksheet. So okay. And now this pivot table, for our rows, we are going to put category, drag category to row. And then for not sentiment, I'm sorry, so category to row. And then for values, we are going to drag score. So it is the sum of the score. And here we have all the scores here. And then now let us create a pivot chart. Let us first remove these grid lines. So we're going to insert a pivot chart for our table. So pivot chart, and we are going to use the horizontal one, the bar, and then okay, let us expand these, and then we are going to format these. First let us remove the grid lines, delete them, and then next we are going to arrange these sort from the highest to the lowest, and we're going to add our labels. So here we're going to select these and then add data labels. So let us sort these from largest to smallest. Okay, let us do the other way. Yeah, so after sorting that, we can also filter these to show the top the top 5 only. So here let us right click and then more sort options, cancel. Just give me a minute. Yeah, and we have now created a chart that shows all the popularity, and we can name these to category popularity. You can move it somewhere there, and then we can get rid of these, and also yeah, and then we can also get rid of these too. So you see here we have our chart showing the popularity for all the categories, and with that you can now sort out the top 5 and then export that to a presentation. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next task.